Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today might be a little short video, but definitely exciting. We got a big hemlock tree here that's been dead, well, since we got here, so almost 5 years. And it's a big one. It's probably one of the biggest trees on the property. And it's in an area where if it falls the wrong way, in the future it could hit something valuable. I want to put up a log milling building up here, and it's possible that it could hit it if it fell down. So I want to take it down now before I get started on building anything to save any future destruction. So that's the tree right there. It's right there. In the past, when I've cut these hemlock down, you can see at the top where there's so many little branches, and when they land they just explode. And obviously this is a very dry tree because it's been dead for at least 5 years. So I'm trying to prevent a bit of cleanup. I wouldn't mind taking the main log out of it and use it in the sawmill to get some lumber out of it. I don't know if I can cut it. They say the longer hemlock sits around, the harder it gets. So we'll have to see. We'll have to get it down first. So the plan is to cut down this smaller beech tree out of the way just to make sure we have a good operating area. You don't want anything in your way when you're cutting a big tree down. Make sure you have a good escape route in case something goes wrong. And I want to drop it into the bush behind. I don't want to drop it out into the yard out here, because this is where I do all my work, and then I'll have to clean all those branches up. So I'd rather than just go off into the bush, and then I don't have to worry about cleaning it up. There'll still be probably going to be some chainsaw work done on the log. The plan is to drop it into the bush and then pull it out of the bush this way and just cut off what I need with the tractor, of course. So we're going to get started, and we're going to take down that little beech tree first and get it out of the way, and then we'll start planning for the big one. I already got the tools I need. I got the nice chainsaw, full gassed up, and sledgehammer for driving in the wedges to encourage the tree to go the right way. Now I have noticed that the wind was going the right way before, and now it's changed a bit. We'll have to see how that goes. It's not very windy at all really, but oh, now the snow's going the other way. So there's not a lot of big wind right now. And of course we got our hearing muffs, chainsaw helmet, and of course safety glasses. So I just want to show you this fungus here. This is called reishi, something like that. I don't eat fungus that I find in the forest just because I can never be 100% sure, and I don't really need to. So I really don't need the food source, and you don't get any you don't get enough nutrients out of mushrooms, even in a survival situation, to risk eating them. Keep that in mind. There's nutrients in them, but there's not any like no protein, no calories, or anything like that. However, these plants here, these are reishi, I think it's called, and they do have medicinal properties, and they grow on dead hemlock. So if you know something about that, there's lots of them around here. I see it all the time, and one's much bigger than this, like that big. I've seen them. But anyway, we'll start getting ready to take this tree down. Just waiting on Mrs. Homesteader. She's going to come out, do some filming, and hopefully the the coroner doesn't need to use that. I always like to look up at a tree and try to get a feel for which way it's going, which way it's leaning anyway. And it's kind of hard to show with a little camera like this because I can tilt the camera and trick you. But as best I can see, the tree is leaning that way. We want the tree to fall that way. So given that, and you can see there's a lot of mass up top, and there's a branch, a huge branch that goes off to the right. So given that, I'm going to do a little bit of extra work now. I'm going to get a rope as high as I can and run it down to something down there, and then back, and then run it back this way so I can hook it up to a tractor and put some pressure on it anyway. I would prefer if it would fall into the forest. It wouldn't be the end of the world if it fell over this way or even over this way, but I would just rather it fall in the forest. Why not make a little extra effort and try to make it successful? So I got some other stuff here. This is a tree meant particularly for arborists, for pulling trees down, lowering branches and stuff. I think the rating on that, if I remember correctly, is like 5,000 pounds or more. This snatch block that we're going to use is going to be our anchor point at the far end. There's a shackle in it, and this shackle, I think it's probably rated for 8 tons or something like that. 3 1/4 tons, pretty close. Anyway, we're not picking the tree up. We're just trying to encourage it to go the right way. We got another shackle there, a bit bigger. That's 4 1/2 tons. And the snatch block here is rated for 10 tons. So the idea is that one of these, or 2 of them, will go around the tree, the anchor point at the bottom. We can open that up, put our rope in like that, and then just close that up. Now, it's not necessary because we have that end right here, but if you had long stretches of rope on either side, it would be nice just to be able to open that so you can drop that in there instead of threading the rope through and then pulling another 200 feet through. So that's what we'll use that for. We got a few slings here, and we got the ladder so we can get an anchor point on the tree. This was the plan, to anchor it to this tree, but it's leaning that way and it's rotten inside, so maybe not the best choice. I'll have to find another one here. I would have liked to have this a little bit closer, but there isn't a decent tree. So we'll have to work with what we got. It might present some challenges with where we can put our rope, but we'll go from there. Speaking of the rope, I need the rope. Okay. when you're using shackles, you snug it right up like that, and then you back it off. It should always be loose. You don't want it tight, because if it's tight and you tweak this, you'll never get that out. So we back it off just a bit. Tighten it, and then back it off like half a turn. So that'll be good. You can see all the branches and everything that are in the way. As soon as we start reefing on it, this rope will pull right straight, and that won't matter anyway. So because I had to go so far that way, it used up a lot of my rope. You can see I'm not far enough away from the tree. I got to put the tractor here to pull this with Mrs. Homesteader on it. And although I have a lot of faith that the tree's going to go the other way, I don't want to put the tractor at risk, or Mrs. Homesteader. So I got to get a longer rope. Okay, I have this wire rope that we're going to use to extend it. So I'm going to put just a regular bow line on there. I would anticipate after I pull this tree down, these knots will not be coming out. And if there is any chance it'll come out, it'll be because it's a bow line. I think a bow line derates the rope by about 15% of rope strength. So it's pretty good for that. And this little piece of knot here is just a keeper to keep that end of the rope busy. All right, we'll go hook up the other end. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to back the tractor up and put as much tension on it as possible. I don't want Mrs. Homesteader on the tractor. Just keep her out of the way so she can focus on the filming of this fine event. And then there'll be enough pressure on that. And as I cut it, we'll just kind of monitor what happens. I got a lot of tension on there. I can feel it fighting the tractor back. That's a lot for a start anyway. So I'll get it start cutting it, and then I'll use the wedges and we'll see which way it's going to go. If it's going the right way, we'll just leave it. If not, then I'll come back and get on tractor and pull her over. that couldn't have gone better. You can see I consumed a little bit of my consumed a little bit of this in there, but that's why they're made out of plastic and not steel, I guess. That's a big tree. We'll count the rings at some point and let you know. There's a lot of weight there. I don't know how much we'll be able to take out at a time with the tractor, but we'll give her a whirl. So thanks for joining in for today, and we'll be doing lots with this log, hopefully. Hopefully it's decent wood, not too rotted. Like and subscribe if you can, and share with your friends, and please leave a comment at the bottom. It would help out a lot. Thanks, we'll see you again.